Hi guys, this is week 15 Project Life and I was a bit stuck on what to use this week. I wanted to do a 5 favorite things because I don't have any particular kits that I need to use, but I didn't know what to use. So I put up a few polls on Instagram yesterday asking you guys what you thought I should use for my 5 favorite things, and let's have a look at what got chosen. So unfortunately I couldn't wait for the Instagram poll to finish, but I've just checked it and then pulled out some stuff. So here's where I'm at. I'm going to use a 6x8 paper pad. I grabbed out the crepe paper Sunny Days one. Puffy stickers was by far the winner, so I've just grabbed a few random puffy sticker sheets, including this one from Kiki K, which I forgot that I even had, so this is the perfect excuse to use that. Stitching, one by a smidge over mixed media, which I'm kind of happy about, so I am going to do some stitching on my title card, I think. And alpha stickers, one over dies, metal dies, which I was kind of a bit sad about. I had hoped to sort of challenge myself with the metal dies, but I've pulled out a couple of different packs of alpha stickers. This one from is it Willow Lane? Yeah, had a few different colors, and these fun ones from Citrus Twist, and then stamping one by a mile. So here are a few different stamp sets I'm going to use. I grabbed an alpha set, coffee of course, a couple of older ones from Kelly Stamps, and an April set from Citrus Twist. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick out some papers from this paper pad, and this was slightly more complicated than I had thought it was going to be. I guess for Project Life I tend to want to stick to more simple patterns, and certainly as far as crepe paper goes, the patterns are all really bold, really colourful, and often quite largely scaled, and I find that for Project Life smaller scale patterns do tend to work best because I'm trimming cards down to 4x6 at the largest. So you can see this camera paper here. Like, I really loved the colors and I thought it would have tied the whole thing together really nicely, but once I put a photo on there, it covers up most of the pattern, which is slightly annoying. I wish it was just a slightly smaller scale. So I end up going with this pink and yellow floral pattern down the bottom, which I really love. It just wasn't what I thought I would go for this week. I thought I'd be tending more towards the blues, and as you can see, I'm really leaning heavily towards yellow, and it's kind of a strange yellow in this line. I mean, it's almost a khaki colored green sort of yellow, so it wasn't what I had intended, but this is where I'm going. I used this smaller scale. They're not dots, they're kind of dashes for the title card here because I want to do some stamping on here, so I'm going to use that alpha from Citrus Twist and do the stamping that says week, and then I'm going to stitch on top of that. So I'm just trying to work out where I'm going to place everything, which is made slightly more difficult by the fact that I only have one E, so I'm just kind of guessing at this point where everything's going to go. And you could agonize over this for a really long time, and it's going to be really hard to work out where everything goes because until you start stitching, you're not going to see it. So in the end, I just went for it. I'm just going to start stamping, and I am stamping in this really light ink, and it ended up being too light, so I'm attempting to double stamp it. I didn't manage to line things up totally perfectly. Because I'm going to stitch an outline around the outside, I decided it probably didn't matter because the stitching's going to hide that really what should be a really sharp line from the stamping, so the stitching's going to hide that. So I obviously don't have stamps for the numbers, so I'm using these really old wood veneer. I think they came from Studio Calico at some point, but if you've been watching me for any length of time, you'll know I've been using those for, well, years probably at this point. just picking a few colors to do some stitching with because I'm gonna stitch around the word week in one color, and then I'm gonna stitch the number 15 in another color. And the reason I've picked out a third color here is because where those two overlap, I'm going to stitch that in a third color. And I can tell you this was a little bit of a mind bend for me to try and work out what was stitching what, because as you can see, I outlined it in pencil, I poked the holes, and then I erased them and started stitching. So there are a couple of mistakes that I'm not going to point out because only I can see them, I know that, but it did slightly annoy me that it wasn't exactly how I thought it would be. I do still need to add my date stamp in here, and I probably should have put it on a label because although this pattern is really small, it's probably too small to make the date stick out. The date kind of becomes part of the pattern, I guess. It just sort of blends in a bit more than I had hoped it would, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. It's there now. I didn't have a label sticker that was long enough to go over top of it, and label stickers weren't really part of my 5 things this week anyway, so instead I'm just going to add some puffy stickers. If all else fails, add a puffy sticker. That's probably my motto in life. I added 3 hearts, and you'll see here I totally changed my mind. I'm gonna add that yellow hello, so it says hello week 15, and then decided I couldn't add the 3rd heart because that gave me 4 stickers rather than 3. And none of those stickers actually stuck that well. I think they might be a little bit old now, or maybe they've gotten too warm or something, but they definitely don't have as much stick as they used to. So I do go back later on and glue those down, especially the ones that go over top of the stitching. Not having that flat surface to stick to, they really did not adhere very well at all. So this 4x6 card, I've just stuck down my photo and I've placed that towards the sort of top left because I want to add, I guess, a title. I want to add, it's not really journaling, some stickers down the bottom here. And I'm using those, what are they called? I keep forgetting the name because I'm stuck on sunny days. Willow Lane. The Willow Lane alphas onto my photo, and then I'm going to add these little citrus twist ones underneath, and I definitely need my tweezers to do that. I also needed to check how to spell symphony because after last week's spelling error, I didn't want to do the same thing twice, and I actually, my whole, see here, this is when I'm like, I'm putting it down and I'm thinking, oh, that doesn't look right, and it actually was, so I shouldn't have second guessed myself, but because I just wanted to make sure that it was right, I went and checked it on Google. What did we do before Google? So I've spelled out Dunedin Symphony, and I'll come back to that and add another sticker later on, but I was sort of lucky that Symphony ended up fitting there. Those little square letters are actually fatter than you would think they were. Coffee week this week, so I've pulled out my favourite caffeinated set from Feed Your Craft, and I'm just going to stamp a couple of these stamps. It says but first coffee down here. Didn't stamp very well. I think I might need to get a new ink pad. That Brilliance Moonlight White seems slightly less juicy than it used to be, so it wasn't stamping as good. And then I added 1 puffy sticker. I think the other thing with that stamp set is I've been really naughty and haven't cleaned it properly, so where it should be stamping white, it definitely is more stamping a very light grey colour. So I'm going to go back and give those stamps a really good clean, and hopefully that will solve the issue. Now this was a really cute photo of Lil and Mel sleeping together. I mean, they tolerate each other, but this does not happen often, so I managed to get a photo without one of them waking up and running away. And because I had these puffy stickers, like I said, they're from Kiki K, they had all these dogs and cats on them, so what I thought I would do is just fill up the bottom of that with stickers. And although it looks cute, I run into a problem later on in that all of these 3x4 photos end up looking really bottom heavy with embellishments. And so I do, once I finish filming, I take a second look at it and I do end up peeling off a couple of those dogs and cats and just leaving 2 stickers on there. And they didn't peel off particularly well. They did leave sort of a sticky residue on there, but I did manage to rub most of that stickiness off. So they're obviously a different type of stickers to most puffy stickers. Most puffy stickers, I feel like you definitely cannot peel off a photo very well. These ones peeled off fine, and it doesn't look too bad, and I'm definitely glad that I did it because, yeah, I just went a bit sticker crazy, I think. Now for this card here, it was really simple. I'm just stamping on one of those citrus twist stamps, and that was one that I had previously cut apart, and you can see how easy it is to just place them back together on your block. That's why I have no issue cutting any stamps. As long as you're super careful about where you cut them, you should be able to place them back together in the exact way that they were designed anytime you really want to. And again, I went a bit sticker crazy and added a couple of stickers to that, and then I'm moving on to this next 3x4 card. So I've stuck the photo down. This was just a photo of actually some like craft scrap. After I'd finished stamping a page for Kelly Stamps, I just really loved the mess that was left behind, so I ended up taking that photo. And I've pulled off a couple of stamps that says seriously pretty, and then I couldn't find one that said mess. That was what I was hoping for, so instead I'm just going to spell that out with alpha stickers again. I was going to stamp them straight onto the card, but because I'm not really sure where I want to put everything yet, I decided to stamp them onto some paper, and I just grabbed a bit of scrap paper out of my bin. Actually, that's where I find most of my scrap paper, sitting on top of my bin, and it was actually a piece of scrap photo paper. That's why it didn't, the stamps look like they had to peel off the paper, because that was photo paper. The only alpha out of this pack that I have left that has E's, the 2 pink ones were a bit light to stand out, and I've used all the E's for the darker blue, so I'm having to add this like 4th color, this teal in here. It sort of ties in all right. There's a couple of little spots of teal, but otherwise it wouldn't have been ideal. I would have loved to have a bit more of the blue on there. And then I can just play around with where I want these little word embellishment stamp pieces to go, and then stick them down, which is much easier than me just randomly stamping it and then try to fit the alpha stickers in as well. This is a bowl of tomatoes. I don't really even eat tomatoes, but Shane does, and I just fancied growing something this year, and these have just grown like you wouldn't believe. So we are still eating bowls of tomatoes. I turn them into sauce so that I can eat them for me. So I was going to spell out nom. It's not really even a word, is it, to spell it? But those pink stickers just did not stand out on the background there, so I went for the white citrus twist ones instead. I wasn't going to use those because I've only used them in one other place, which is directly below this photo, which obviously I don't enjoy when I've got 2 things like that and they're one above each other. I would much prefer to spread it out across the page, but that just wasn't going to work, so sometimes I guess I have to break my own rules there. This stamp here I really love, Get It Done, and it sort of has really nothing to do with this photo. I tried to justify it by saying, well, it was a picture really early in the morning, like super early in the morning. Actually, the color of the sky coming through our curtains woke me up, so get it done. I guess get up early, take a photo, get it done. I'd added those hearts to the title card, and then I added one onto that sky photo, so I decided to add a few more. But in the detail shots at the end, you'll see where I decided to peel back some of that over-eager stickerness. Thanks for helping me pick out these things, guys. I always enjoy these 5 favorite things layouts, and this one is certainly no exception. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.